Hello listeners, Stacey here on an update to the Planning Pulse, and today I'm joined by Sam.
Hi everyone.
I say update, this isn't a sort of topic specific version of the Pulse. Sam and I are going to talk to you about a couple of bits and bobs, updating on a few things just so that you as listeners know what's coming up, what we're doing and what you can look forward to. So Sam, shall we tackle the first topic, which is, I suppose, a bit of a confession, isn't it, from us?
It is, yeah. So we are slightly rebranding the podcast. It's still going to be called the Planning Pulse, but as regular listeners will be aware, they've never been 5 minutes. In fact, our last episode about biodiversity net gain was a record. However, that said, I hope everyone still found it very informative and helpful. But I think we're just owning that and letting you know that we will regularly still do these information pieces.
But they're not going to be 5 minutes.
We're not going to promise they're going to be 5 minutes. And
No.
So we're not going to call the podcast as such. So it's just going to be retitled just simply the Planning Pulse, and you can expect regular information from us about everything to do with planning at Wilton.
Yeah, and I think it's good to get that out there because, as you say, Sam, they've never been 5 minutes, and I think if we aim for something like 10 to 15 on a fortnightly basis, we will still convey important information and updates. So yeah, that's that point. Next update is quite important. I mean, maybe not, or it could be for residents and parish and town councils that are listening, but maybe if you're an agent or another kind of active professional in the area, we do actually have some vacancies and jobs. I mean, there's some coming within development management, and we'll come on to that in a second, but we'll leave a link below because Nicola Waters and team actually have vacancies within the planning policy section of the council, spanning a whole range of jobs from manager's job to team leader and senior, and it's all quite exciting because, as you know, we've got a new local plan coming or being worked on, and Nicola and team are expanding and trying to fill roles to help out with that process. So yeah, have a look at those jobs because they're still live. People can have a look and apply. So definitely go and have a look. And then just some changes that we've made, haven't we, Sam? Do you want to?
Yeah, that's right. So you'll probably know if you deal with the council regularly that we have an enforcement and environment team. So that is our planning enforcement function, officers that deal with breaches of planning control and monitoring of the build out of developments across the district. But that same team is also home to a bunch of our professional specialists that cover biodiversity, arboricultural, kind of coastal engineering, countryside type matters, rights of way, etc. Anything to do with the Cuckoo Trail. They sit within that same team. But what we've done recently is we've reviewed that team structure, and we're now going to have two separate teams. We're going to have one that purely does focus on planning enforcement, and they'll be headed up by a dedicated team leader to help them oversee that work. And then we'll have a separate built and natural environment team, also headed up by another team leader that will help them focus on their support of both the work of the planning department, but also where things overlap in terms of those specialist areas, the work of the wider council. So that change is one that we've made now, but there are kind of knock-on effects, I suppose, of making that change. So as much as there's recruitment ongoing that Stacey just explained in the policy team, we'll also shortly be advertising for roles in these new separate teams that we have. They'll again span a range. We're looking for a team leader for our built and natural environment team, and also for our planning enforcement team. And also we're looking for more entry-level positions, so people to come in as trainees or assistant level officers to deal with some of those matters.
Yeah, thanks, Sam. And don't go looking for those jobs just yet because they're not there, but we are working on them. And it's an exciting time, in terms of recruiting at those different levels, and you get to come and work with us. Maybe that's a bad thing.
No, it's great.
All right. So last thing then, just on this sort of holding update episode, just a little bit about future episodes. I mean, regular listeners will have heard you, Sam, chatting with Ben and Poppy last time on Biodiversity Net Gain.
That's right.
And there's a follow up to that, isn't there?
So we covered a kind of very general, broad brush update about biodiversity net gain, and we appreciate that there was aspects of that we didn't go into much detail about or didn't cover specifically. So yeah, we intend to do follow-up episodes that cover things like use of conditions and legal agreements.
Not 20 minutes though.
Well, I mean, I don't want to spoil it. People have to wait and see, won't they?
No, I jest. But no, it'd be important to round that off so that there's a complete story around that topic, which is all very interesting and is changing, all of our work in the planning department. But next week, listeners, you'll be hearing from Nicola and team on quite an important update, because the planning policy team are just about ready and will be next week in relation to the initial processing of the responses to the Regulation 18 stage to the local plan. So that is the consultation, the formal consultation. So the team have been very busy processing those responses and not filtering them and understanding them, but there'll be an update in terms of numbers received, and then a wider update on the next stages to the local plan. So I'm sure that will be of interest to everybody. So make sure you tune in next week to hear from Nicola and the team on that important update.
Yeah, you'll hear everything about how it's moving forward.
Yeah, and that's it, isn't it?
It is.
Okay, thanks very much. We'll see you all soon.